Hi, welcome back to Detailing World. Today we're at car-chem and we're just going to have a quick chat with Luke Fletcher, the MD. Hi, so yeah, we're down at car-chem. This is Luke Fletcher, the MD. We're just going to go through a few questions, learn a bit about Luke, about the company and what the future holds. So yeah, let's get cracking.
Yeah.
So, first of all then, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Luke Fletcher, MD here at CarChem, 34 years of age. Been running CarChem now for 9 years. Started up from scratch myself on the back of my father's printing business, which I used to work for. Since then, we've developed all formulations and all products in-house with an on-site laboratory, manufacturing facility. So we've created everything from scratch. I like in my free time to go out and play golf. I've just started learning to play golf, so I'm pretty poor at the moment, but I'm trying.
I went last week as well, so you fancy a game?
Absolutely, yeah, you'll definitely beat me, by the way.
I don't know about that one. Yeah, continue, sorry.
Yeah, so CarChem really kind of started taking off around 3 years into the business. The first 3 years is always hard to try and create a new product, a new brand to the market. You always get knockbacks, and it's never easy to you start by doing kind of cold calling and things like that, and it's never easy to start with. However, perseverance has led us to kind of where we are today, and 2019, and it's set to be another good year. We've got a lot of things in the pipeline. Obviously, just launching our new car cosmetics range as well. So now we're bringing CarChem more to the consumer. As well as being, the core part of our business is always going to be the manufacturing side, producing products under private label for kind of worldwide customers, so yeah, that brings us here today, I suppose.
Next up, what car do you drive?
So at the minute I've got a Jaguar F-Type. Yep. It's a bit of a silly car. It tries to kill you sometimes, especially if it's wetter in the winter. Just literally taking it off the drive, you could be wheel spinning it. So I have to be sensible, and to be honest with you, I might get rid of it soon because I've had my fun, and now it's time to get something that I can fit my golf clubs into, basically.
So what will that be then? What next?
I'm not sure. I've started looking around. I do actually like the F-Pace. Oh, right. I'm a Jaguar fan.
Right, yeah.
And I do quite like that. It's a nice car, something maybe that's a little bit more 4x4, a little bit more practical type of car.
Bit grown up.
Yeah. It's time to grow up.
Next one then is, how often is that detailed, and do you detail it yourself?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a project car really when it comes to
testing all these products.
Testing, absolutely. So sometimes it looks a bit like a patchwork quilt because you'll be testing one product on one area, and not even per panel. The panel could be separated out if you're testing new polishes and things. The panel could be separated out into kind of like 6 or 10 different areas, and all these products are new development products. So some of them work really well, some of them not so much. So my car, although it's worked on a weekly basis, it doesn't always look the most detailed car just because it's used as a bit of a tester. But I'm going to have to get it detailed really properly soon, because I think I'm going to take it to Waxstock this year, which we're attending for the first time because of the new cosmetics brand that were released. So because of that, I'm going to have to get it detailed properly and stop using it as a tester.
I'm sure you know plenty of people that can do that.
Yeah, there's a few out there.
So you say you started about 10 years ago. How did you get into manufacturing car care products then?
Yeah, so basically I used to work for my father's company. He manufactures for the printing industry. So he manufactures coatings and wash chemicals for paper substrates and also for the printing presses. I spent 3 years in his laboratory learning about chemistry and how application works in that field. On the back of that, we brought on a chemist who had some dealings within the automotive trade. So I then started to go out and doing a bit of selling, and started to realise that there's a massive crossover with manufacturing, chemistry in general. When you're looking at kind of cleaning or protectant chemistry, there's a huge crossover with the two industries. So after we did a bit of exploring, a bit of market research, I thought to myself, I think this might have legs. So it's something that I want to look into and try and take forward. So initially, car-chem started with me renting a very small section of my father's factory and developing it myself. I was basically a one-man band where I'd mix the chemicals myself, I'd test the chemicals myself, I'd sell the chemicals myself, and do everything in between as well. And then within kind of a year of that, I brought on a few guys to look after the website more, and a guy to work in the factory for me. Then I started renting a factory close by, and that's kind of where it developed from there, to be honest with you. And then year on year, it's kind of seen growth and new markets. We're now manufacturing directly or indirectly all over the world. car-chem is in 40 countries itself, but we're into a lot more countries than that under private label.
Yeah, cool. So the next question, I guess, is, first of all, I should have asked first, whereabouts are you based and where can customers buy your products from?
Yeah, so we're based in Nottinghamshire, just off Junction 27. We've been based here since day one, although we've just invested in a new factory, which is around 10 minutes from here, which is a new 12,500 square feet factory with and that'll actually have an on-site shop there. Whereas always previously, we've always just manufactured to order. But now with the new car cosmetics range and looking into more consumer use, we're going to set up a shop on site, and then we have a good following and a good range of resellers. Real loyal, great guys. That where you can buy the car-chem range from, both in the UK and overseas. Yeah.
So for anyone interested, we'll put a link in the description below to car-chem's website, so you can grab a bargain. And we've got an offer at the moment, haven't we? Hopefully at the time that this video goes out, they're doing a sample range where you can buy 5 for, how much was it?
Yeah, so it's 500 mils for $9.99. We thought we'd do that just because we're trying to explore this slightly new market, than what we've always explored before. So basically, it's try before you buy kind of thing. Come and have a little look at the car-chem range. Free delivery on everything as well on our website, which we've just implemented. And then obviously you can still buy all the original car-chem products and formulas from a link which is on the new website to the old website.
Right.
So you still have that offering, but now you've just got new and in a lot of cases new and improved formulas. With the new website launching, we spent the last 2 years really reformulating, making sure what we bring to the market now hasn't already been brought to the market by us or anybody else really. So they're all brand new formulations that we've worked with and tested over a 2-year period. We're really quite proud of kind of like where we've got to, and put a lot of work and time and things into it. It's been hard work.
Cool. So going back 10 years then, do you remember the first product you ever sold or made?
Yeah, I do, absolutely. So the first product I sold was a waterless wash. It was waterless wash and wax.
Oh, right.
So in the very early days, we developed a really nice waterless product, and I know waterless has a bit of a stigma surrounding it. But in the early days, it was in 2010. There was more reciprocals to it, so there's a lot more people that wanted to try it. It was a slightly new product to the market. It had just been shown on Dragon's Den a few years prior to that.
Right.
And actually, one of the guys that showed it on Dragon's Den, we got in contact with and worked with in the early days a little bit.
So you're competing with Peter Jones then?
Yeah,
you're a dragon
absolutely.
yourself.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so the waterless and the leather care, and there was a few interior cleaners. We were we pushed in the early days.
Right.
Waterless nowadays we don't push quite so much because we've developed the company into manufacturing high-end detailing products. The waterless doesn't quite fit within that. However, with the new car cosmetics range, we've brought out what we call in spray wax waterless technology.
Yes.
So there's a very big crossover with a spray wax and a waterless wash. It's just basically how you use it. Do you use it to clean your car and protect it, or do you use it as more of a quick detailer so that your car's already kind of pretty much clean.
So something to chuck in the boot and take to a car show.
Absolutely.
So you washed it at home.
That's right.
Driven 20, 30, 40 miles.
Yeah,
to get
completely.
spritzed down.
So we kind of developed our wash list to fit that market more.
Cool. So moving on, what is the best-selling product on the shelf that you have at the moment?
Yeah, so the best-selling products, we've got a few that are kind of like flagship products. So we've got our 1900 to 1
goes without saying, I guess.
Yeah, we always mention that one. It took us a lot of years to develop this product because we didn't want it to be just another shampoo. There's so many shampoos on the market all going for the same kind of piece of cake.
Yeah.
So we wanted ours to be kind of almost overly formulated. With the surfactants, wetting agents and things that you add into it. So I think we kind of hit the nail on the head with that one quite well. Slightly more recently, our ion contamination remover, which it was and still called Revolt. We called it that due to the smell of it. We have now reformulated a new shampoo and ion contamination remover in the new Car Cosmetics range. Both are developments on the old formulation, but they have different raw materials. So the shampoo has an agent in there which just adds a little bit more depth of gloss to the paintwork.
Yeah.
The ion contamination remover, we've increased the level of the reactive ingredients. We've made it slightly thinner. Some people like the thickness of ion contamination removers because it dwells on the surface more. So our old formulation Revolt, that's a thicker formulation, but with a new one we've made it thinner, but we've increased the level of active ingredients so that it doesn't have to dwell on the surface quite so long, but you're going to still get the same results. And it's a little bit more user friendly, I'd say. You know, it application wise, it's slightly nicer, I personally think. But as we know, this market is this business. It's made up of so many different opinions, and that's the beauty of it. It's fantastic because of that.
Yeah, that's great. And what makes your company different to other manufacturers out there, particularly those that are in the UK? How does car-chem stand out from the competitors?
No, sure. I mean, I've always built car-chem, and right from the early days, I wanted a business that we would fit into whatever the customer needed. So there's no airs and graces with us. We'll treat a new startup company, one-man band, exactly the same as we treat our kind of more corporate customers. So service for me is a major thing, which a lot of companies out there have a certain level of service, but I think I like to think we will go above and beyond to make sure that the working structure that we put in place revolves around the customer. So what I would always say to a customer is, you come to me and tell me how you need us to work for you, then we'll go back, we'll try and set up a complete structure just for those. So every customer has its own database on our system. We work differently for everybody, whether it be a simple thing of they want small volume manufactured in a bespoke or their own formulations, it's not a problem, or whether it be bigger clients that want us to do direct dispatch, private labelling into their retail bottles, or just simple manufacturing and supplying IBCs. Whatever it may be that they need, we will absolutely fit into it. And then on the back of that, we've got all the development processes on site with the laboratory and chemists. So product wise, we work tirelessly on making sure developments are done not just for the car-chem brand. To be honest with you, it's mainly for customers. But that's what we do. We like to sit in the background and manufacture, so that our customers can go out there and be the face of it. Really.
So if you develop a product for company A, and you yourself realise there's a slightly better formulation, say for a shampoo, would you tweak that for them, or do you have to go through a discussion phase with them about that product then?
So we'll sit down with them and see, allow them to do their test themselves, and if they found, there's another shampoo on the market which they prefer, then we can have a chat to them. We can use knowledge and raw materials that we have on site. We've got probably around 10,000 raw materials on site that we can incorporate into these different formulas. And if they want something completely different, we can always, and we haven't got the raw material, we can always go and source it. We work with a lot of good suppliers and partners that understand how we work. So we've probably got 5 or 6 floor-to-ceiling cupboards of samples that suppliers have sent to us that we've tested.
So that could be competitors' samples then, and they want to match or similar or
it could
exceed.
be anything really, from other products which are out there on the market to raw material samples which our suppliers send us. And if we would contact the supplier and say, look, we're looking to make this certain product.
Yep.
What do you have within your raw material arsenal to help us do this? And so they will come to us and supply us with a raw material. We'll then blend it with other raw materials and come up with a formulation. I'd say probably 5 or 6 times out of 10, the first formulation we come up with isn't exactly to what we need.
Yeah.
So then it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
These things can take anywhere from 2 weeks to formulate to 2 years.
Right. That was basically my next question: how much time and testing goes into the products?
Absolutely.
And choosing one to sell, really. So,
no, sure.
do you do the testing in house, or do you send the other team of reviewers to do that for you?
Well, we do all the testing in-house. If the customer also wants to do their own set of testing, not a problem at all.
Yeah.
We'll send them the samples the same as what we've got and what we've produced, and then they can do their own testing. But we can work, so the testing can be as much as we can develop a product, the customer can say, yeah, it's fine, and then we'll do 3 to 6 months testing in controlled environments. So we've got an incubator on site, we've got a cold room, things like this, where we can do actual testing within that to make sure we develop the right product, not just for application but sustainability as well.
Yeah.
It's so important, so that we can make sure, after 5 or 6 months sat on a shelf, or if it's getting developed for kind of a hot country, and it's going to be kept in 30-40 degrees heat, we can make sure it doesn't break down, and the same for the colder countries as well.
Yeah. So is there any new products we can expect from you in the future, especially with the new range that you've got now? Is there anything you're going to be developing that the customers can look forward to, really? Yeah,
well, all these new products that we're offering with the car cosmetics range, they've all been in development, like I say, for the last 2 years. We're bringing all these products to market now. The launch was yesterday, which was the 12th of April.
Yep.
And so we've worked so hard on these formulas, but we're not going to stop there. It's a day in, day out thing where we'll keep on trying to improve and we always want to try and be one step ahead of the market. So I think the day you kind of sit back and let the market pass you by is the day, especially from a manufacturer's perspective, is the day that you need to give up. So we'll never do that.
Yeah, and speaking of new products, I did watch the interview with Bert, and you was talking then about silicone products and coatings, and that was something you hadn't done at the time, but you was looking to be the first in the UK. So you've now got a product seen on the website yesterday. Does that mean you're now the first in the UK to be doing that one?
So we've got basically we've got a ceramic coating, which is a 2-stage coat. So we've got a ceramic coating and then a top coat which goes over the top of it. So we formulated that in-house. We've developed this product so that we've tried to make it as easy to use as possible, because obviously with ceramic coatings they are quite well known for being tricky for application. Drying time, things like this can be quite long. So we've developed this product which the base layer, so your actual ceramic coat, it's not overly tricky to apply in comparison to some. But then on top of that, we've got the top coat, which also acts as a drying aid, so you don't have to leave it for you 48 hours before you can use your car. With the drying aid, 4 hours and it's ready to use.
Yeah.
So application for it and also longevity, we've looked into that, and we found we've come up with a really nice kind of 2-stage ceramic coating, which we've only just started putting it out to the market. So we were a little bit behind on that, but I didn't want to just kind of jump in head first, and before we've developed something that was going to kind of stand the test of time.
Yeah. So I guess with ceramic coatings, you've got to make them, want of a better phrase, you've got to make them foolproof.
Sure.
Because a lot of people, they're just going to pick up the product with the shampoo and just use it. And I suppose they just want to buy a ceramic coating, maybe watch a quick video on how to apply it, and just go ahead. So I'm guessing that's one of the tricky things. Because I know the early days you had to be basically a certified installer of ceramic coating. So these are a bit easier to use than the early days.
Yeah, the developments have certainly allowed for companies to manufacture more user-friendly products.
Yeah.
Certainly in the early days, it was a little bit scary when people who weren't really understanding of what they were using would go out and put it on the car, and they would soon see that damages could happen, and then it was very hard to remove.
Yes, definitely.
Nowadays, developments have come quite far, and I think although you still have to be very careful, because it is, it's a coating which bonds to the surface of the car so well that it still is hard to remove or replace. But it just allows the user to not have to worry quite so much about it, but still got the good bonding time. We give a minimum of 3 years. We've tested it up to 5, and it's been absolutely.
So it really has been in testing for a long time.
It's been testing for a long time. No, absolutely. And we've done that both under Excel conditions, and it's still ongoing. I mean, we're going to keep testing that as long as time allows, basically.
Yeah, it's great. That's it for the company questions at the moment. Unless there's anything else you can tell me about the company that I may have missed and not thought of.
No, I don't think so. Really, I suppose people know CarChem as a private label manufacturer, which is what we are and what we always will be. But like I say, this new car cosmetics range, it's really quite exciting, because we've got some raw materials and formulas in there which haven't been used before. We've not seen anybody else in the market using these kind of formulas that we're working with now. And some of these raw materials, which they do come at quite a hefty cost to buy in, but when you develop them, and you can make them into a product which certainly is affordable, and we always try and keep everything affordable. Even though we are manufacturing real high quality chemicals, we don't want to be arrogant about it and say, look, you're going to have to pay £30 for a small bit of shampoo. We are realistic with our pricing as well, so hopefully that will reflect. And I think the more people start to understand the car cosmetics range now, I think we'll hopefully see people kind of taking heed of it and jumping on the bandwagon. That's the plan.
Great. Got some random questions that you've not been aware of.
Okay. So,
some of these are from Bill, the General Detailing World Forum questions. So, if you could meet anyone dead or alive, who would it be? And why?
Question. Alive. My childhood hero was Paul Gascoigne.
Okay.
And I just think what a footballer.
He must be the first time his name's come up.
I can imagine. Yeah. No, it's a bit of a random one, but I just followed him as a lad, so he'll be the first one that cropped to mind. And Winston Churchill. Yeah.
Great. I'll see that while on that one. If you won the lottery, what is the first thing you would do?
I think the first thing I would do is
claim the winnings, obviously.
Yeah, claim the winnings. Buy a Lambo, maybe, and do like a Lamborghini. Fantastic cars. And maybe go on a nice holiday. I suppose. I know a lot of people would say that, but it's an obvious answer. And probably invest it as well.
Of course, natural businessman. What else are you going to do? What is the best or worst gift you've ever received or been given as well?
The worst gift I've ever received was someone once bought me a toilet seat, which I don't quite understand why they would. There was nothing special about it at all. I think they came round and might have had a crack in, so they thought, okay, well, you need a new toilet seat. So that was the worst gift, hands down. The best one was probably a pool table, which I've still got in my house now, and me and my wife have many a Friday evening having a glass of wine playing pool. So that's probably the most used and best one I've ever had.
And what is something you learned last week? Have you learned anything new?
I learned last week.
That is a random question.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Well, I think that's probably a good question in light of us kicking off with the car cosmetics range. I've never been very tech savvy when it comes to social media and things like that. So I've always got good guys that do that. But I've started to learn about how to use chat groups, because we've just launched a car-chem chat group as well on Facebook. Started to learn things on social media which I didn't know before. So it's probably all surrounding that. I'm 34 now, and it's probably come 15 years too late, but I'm starting to now understand a little bit more about social media. So I'd imagine that's probably the best thing I learned.
And finally, got some quick-fire questions here. So, Ferrari or Lambo?
Lambo.
Thought so. Wax or sealant? Sealants. Fish and chips or bangers and mash?
Fish and chips.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Ketchup or brown sauce?
Brown sauce.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Good answer.
All day long.
So that's it, yeah, and thanks to Luke for doing this interview. We'll have more of these coming soon, and we'll put all the links in the description below. So yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, all right.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'll have to do now, so
Yeah.
I'm not doing all that again.
Perfect.
Oh man.